Hey everyone, sorry I got this video out several days late. I just got back from a trip to Colorado, and while I did get 2 videos made ahead of time, as well as a video I made there, my efforts weren't enough. And if I had just planned a little better, I would have been able to keep up the schedule. But now that I just got back yesterday, I'm ready to get back into the swing of things. Oh, and as promised, I'm gonna try to make up for the delay with a cool action video, and I've had the idea in my head for quite a while now, and it's gonna take a lot of work. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that video. I'm gonna try to get it up by Saturday, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, let's get to these comments. Can you do more things with your Megaminx? Actually, there's very few things you can do with this Megaminx. I haven't figured out any patterns. Like, I have seen a star one, but the only way I can see how to do that is just to solve the puzzle in that way. And I've also just never been a big fan of dodecahedron puzzles, you know? While I like to pick this one up every now and then, I usually pick up my 3x3 more often. Can you make a new F2L tutorial? Yeah, I felt I could make a better tutorial. We'll see. Which one of your cubes is the hardest to solve? Well, currently none of my puzzles are harder to solve than any of the others. I do have many puzzles that take longer to solve than others, but after I figure out how to solve a puzzle, the difficulty quickly goes away. But if you'd like to know which puzzle that was hardest for me to learn how to solve, I would say the 3x3x4. This one took me a long time to solve. It was pretty challenging. But I'm sure once I get my latch cube, which should be coming any day now, I'm sure that one will be the hardest. What is your fastest time solving a 3x3? Oh, very hard to say, because I rarely ever time myself. Maybe back when I was back into cubing, I probably got times, like, extremely rarely, maybe 22 seconds. But once I'm warmed up, I almost always get 30 seconds on the cube now. Do you recommend lubricating the VCube 5 when it is totally assembled, or just one corner section at a time? Well, I found back when I used to use CRC silicone spray, it would cause the cubes to really stiffen up, the VCubes especially, because there's just not really a lot of air circulation in there, and it couldn't evaporate. So it did seem to work out better if I took the whole thing apart. Now that I use Jigaloo, it seems to work a lot better spraying it directly into an assembled cube. So my advice, if you're having trouble getting your cube to turn smoothly, then maybe you should take it all apart. Do you know about commulators? Well, your comment was the first time I had seen the word, so I checked out Bad Mephisto's video about it. And there I realized I had been using commulators all along whenever I learned to solve a new cube. So if I ever make a tutorial on how to come up with your own algorithms, then yeah, I'll probably be showing several different techniques that are very similar to commulators. If VCubes put your modification on their VCube 6, would you be happy because they improved the quality, or sad because you got no credit for it? Well, yes, I'd be very excited if they come up with a better way to keep their inner layer in alignment. And if it was blatantly obvious they used my idea, then yeah, I'd be a little sad that they didn't at least contact me about it, but it could be the way with the X-Cube 4, where it's not really clear if that guy saw my modification. So when the VCube 6 finally does come out, my guess is that it's gonna be very hard to tell if my modification had any influence. I was thinking of getting a VCube 6, but I hear it's only good after you modify it. Would you say it would be worth it to complete the mod? Well, it depends on how much experience you have modifying cubes. For a beginner, it can be very tricky to keep the pins in there. Also, you only need to modify the VCube 6 if the clickiness bothers you. If you have a VCube 5 or VCube 7, then you probably will get tired of the VCube 6. But if you get the VCube 6 first, then you may be perfectly happy with the clicking mechanism. It sure didn't bother me before I got the VCube 5 or 7. So if you want to modify the VCube 6, it really depends on your own judgment. And the more older you are, probably the better judgment you'll have. Are you planning on getting the Zhang Chai? Man, I have no idea if I pronounced that right. But yeah, I saw pictures of that a few days ago, and yeah, I'll probably get it after seeing a few reviews. What would you do if you met Red KB? We'd probably make a video together, and same goes with any other popular YouTube cuber. Are you gonna make a second version of how to solve the 3x3? No, simply because there's thousands of tutorials that are already out there. Alright, so that's all I have for cubing comments, now for some regular ones. Why is your voice so high? Well, I thought it lowered a few years ago. Can't imagine why. The video of the exploding cube, I thought it was brilliant. People are always going to dislike the video, but if you look, there are more people liking than there are disliking. Oh yes, I understand that, but if I try to appeal to the people who are disliking the video, then the quality of my videos are only going to improve. Why were you homeschooled? Because my parents had some bad experiences with my older brother and sister in the public school, so they decided to homeschool all of us. And honestly, I think it helped a lot when my parents raised me. And when I hang out with other homeschoolers, there does seem to be a better attitude than I do when I hang out with public schooled people. I'm not saying it's bad to be public schooled, I think it's okay, but I think it's better to be homeschooled. But of course, I have a natural bias towards homeschooling, so I don't know if you can take my word for it or not. What 4-year college do you plan on going to? What do you plan on having as your major? Honestly, I do not know yet. I still have one more semester in the fall to finish up my core classes, so I have at least until then to decide. As for a major, it could be anything in mathematics, video production, or engineering. Also, my other channel has a chance of getting a bigger audience than this channel just because simply the cubing community is so limited. And maybe I will pursue that as a career. Who knows? Would you get a cool haircut if we told you to? Nope. What did you think about the new YouTube when it changed more than a year ago? Well, I did think it was a pain to get used to all the new stuff, but now that I have, I think that YouTube is a much better place than what it was. And I really think YouTube has a good judgment on which features will work. Number 1, they're experienced web designers. And number 2, they have clicking statistics that they can analyze. Okay, that's all the comments I have for today. If you'd like to try to have your comment in the video, go ahead and post it below. Generally keep them cubing related. If you guys found these videos entertaining, then you may like to check out last week's video, or even next week's video when I make it. Or if you'd like to be notified of when videos like these are uploaded, then you can subscribe above. Thanks for watching, guys!